सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल डिफेसिस को और दबाइए बेल बटन को ताकि आपको मिल सके हमारी वीडियोस की अपडेट सबसे पहले।
The world has seen China become more aggressive during the COVID-19 pandemic, U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper has said, asserting that the country has deployed troops along the line of actual control with India and is acting out in a way that is inconsistent with international norms. Esper said Beijing was trying to use the coronavirus tragedy to their advantage for propaganda purposes. What we have seen with regard to what happened in the last 7 months coming as part of COVID, if you will, we've seen China become more aggressive, trying to use the tragedy of COVID-19 to their advantage for propaganda purposes. They have really overplayed their hand and we've seen them continue to try and exercise this muscle in the South China Sea, he said on Wednesday. Beijing claims almost all of the 1.3 million square mile South China Sea as its sovereign territory. China has been building military bases on artificial islands in the region also claimed by Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan and Vietnam. Beijing has impeded commercial activity like fishing or mineral exploration by countries like Vietnam and the Philippines, claiming that the ownership of territory belonged to China for hundreds of years. Responding to a question during Aspen Security Forum discussion, Esper said that the Chinese sank a Vietnamese fishing vessel a few months ago. They continue to twist the arms of others. They've deployed troops along the line of actual control in India. We see them acting out in a way that is inconsistent with, international norms, rules of behavior, if you will, and many of our allies and partners are reacting as well, he said. His remarks came amid the border face-off between India and China in eastern Ladakh. The Aircraft Research and Design Centre, a vibrant wing of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, has completed the structural design of the new variant of light combat aircraft, called TejasMk1A. The provisional set of drawings has also been released, which will finally be cleared by the certifying agencies. The additional system design activities are currently in progress. In 6 months' time, new set of equipment will start arriving ahead for integration. By then, the final system design is also expected to be in place. If Hindustan Aeronautics Limited sticks to the current timelines, then the integration of new systems will begin early next year, followed by a series of rig tests and later the all-critical flight tests. It is expected close to 200 flight trials will be undertaken before all new systems are being proven as per the requirements and satisfaction of the Indian Air Force. The advanced features of TejasMk1A will be proven on 2 limited series production aircraft, which are part of the ongoing trials of the fighter program. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited hopes to have the final configuration of the TejasMk1A by 2022-23. All the current activities are expected to get a morale boost further when the Ministry of Defence will finally award the contract of 83 TejasMk1s to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The contract worth around Rs 38,000 crore, including spares, weapons, engine test beds, is still under finalization and is likely to be inked in the last quarter of this year. Unlike the early versions of Tejas, Aircraft Research and Design Centre will be the lead designer of Mk1A program as per its work-share arrangement with Aeronautical Development Agency. With this arrangement, HAL probably also got an opportunity to lessen the trust deficit other stakeholders had on them when it came to the Tejas program. China intruded into Indian territory in eastern Ladakh in early May, the Defense Ministry acknowledged in a document showing on the news section of its website since Tuesday. 2 days after it was put up on the Ministry of Defense website, the page is missing. Chinese aggression has been increasing along the line of actual control and more particularly in Galwan Valley since May 5, 2020. The Chinese side has transgressed in the areas of Kangring Nala, Gogra and north bank of Pangong Tso Lake on May the 17th to the 18th, the ministry said in the document under the title Chinese Aggression on Line of Actual Control, in the What's New section on its website. The document said ground-level interactions were held between the armed forces of both sides to defuse the situation. A Corps commander's flag meeting was held on June 6. However, a violent face-off incident took place between the two sides on June 15, resulting in casualties on both sides. Subsequently, said the document, a second Corps commander-level meeting took place on June 22 to discuss the modalities of de-escalation. While engagement and dialogue at military and diplomatic level is continuing to arrive at mutually acceptable consensus, the present standoff is likely to be prolonged, the ministry said. The situation in eastern Ladakh arising from unilateral aggression by China continues to be sensitive and requiring close monitoring and prompt action based on the evolving situation, it added. This morning, the document vanished from the website and the link is not working anymore. A Defense Ministry spokesperson said the document did not go through him. This is the first time any official document had taken note of what was called Chinese aggression, since tension near the Lak started in May and escalated into the worst fight in decades between the neighbors on June 15, when 20 Indian soldiers were killed in the line of duty. Seeking to keep a closer eye on the activities of the Chinese military both near the Indian territory as well as in its depth areas all along the 4,000-kilometer line of actual control, the Indian security agencies feel there is a requirement of 4 to 6 dedicated satellites which can help them keep a check on the adversary's moves. The need has been felt after the Chinese army in the garb of an exercise in the Xinjiang region on its side of the line of actual control mobilized more than 40,000 troops along with heavy weaponry and artillery and started rushing them towards Indian territory and transgressed into Indian territory at multiple locations surprising the Indian formations located inland including the 14 Corps headquarters. To improve the coverage of the activities of the Chinese troops and forces in both near Indian territory and in their depth areas, there is a need for 4 to 6 dedicated satellites with very high-resolution sensors and cameras giving ability to keep a close watch even on the movement of small objects and individuals, defense sources said. The capability and assets would also help the country to reduce dependence on foreign associates to keep a watch on Chinese and other adversaries, they said. The Indian Armed Forces already have a few military satellites which are used for keeping a close watch on the adversaries, but there is a need to further strengthen that capability, the sources said. At the moment, Chinese troops have transgressed into Indian territory in Finger area along the Panging Tso Lake where they are refusing to disengage completely and want to create an observation post at Finger 5. In the Gogra area also, they are maintaining some elements. Because of the lack of clarity about the Chinese activities, the Indian side took time to build up its numbers in Ladakh and additional forces had to be pumped in from adjoining areas and reserve formations were also moved there. Lockheed Martin has won a $181.7 million to produce and deliver 39 A.N./AQS-22 airborne low-frequency sonars to the U.S. Navy and foreign military sales customers, for integration into MH-60R Seahawk multi-mission helicopters. Under a $181.74 million contract modification from Naval Air Systems Command, announced on 4 August, 24 sonar systems will be provided to India and 7 airborne low-frequency sonars to Denmark, in addition to 8 airborne low-frequency sonars for the U.S. Navy, into MH-60R Seahawk aircraft, the U.S. Department of Defense said in a statement today. India is buying a total of 24 helicopters under a $2.1 billion deal confirmed by the country in February this year. For the record, the Indian Navy MH-60R weapons package is expected to include Kongsberg's naval strike missile in its helicopter-launched variant. The contract award comes after the government of Denmark announced in April this year it had ordered torpedoes, airborne low-frequency sonars and sonar buoys for its 9 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters. All work under the contract is expected to be completed by December 2024. The A.N./AQS-22 airborne low-frequency sonar is the primary undersea warfare sensor of the MH-60R multi-mission helicopter. This integrated dipping sonar system enables the MH-60R to accomplish the assigned anti-submarine warfare missions of submarine detection, tracking, localization and classification. It also performs missions relating to acoustic intercept, underwater communications and environmental data acquisition. The A.N./AQS-22 is the only in-service tipping sonar with the multi-frequency operation. This capability enables the A.N./AQS-22 to adapt its performance to varying environmental conditions. With a rapid search rate, the A.N./AQS-22 identifies and neutralizes threats sooner, enabling it to cover a larger area. The A.N./AQS-22 also permits a longer detection range over a wider area, reducing the number of helicopters required to perform active anti-submarine warfare screening. Pakistan's foreign minister warned on Wednesday that if the Organization of Islamic Cooperation did not convene a meeting of its Council of Foreign Ministers on Jammu and Kashmir, Islamabad would call a separate meeting of Muslim nations. Speaking on a talk show on Airy News, Shah Mahmood Qureshi was quoted by Dawn as saying, "I am once again respectfully telling Organization of Islamic Cooperation that a meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers is our expectation. If you cannot convene it, then I'll be compelled to ask Prime Minister Imran Khan to call a meeting of the Islamic countries that are ready to stand with us on the issue of Kashmir and support the oppressed Kashmiris." Qureshi made the comments on a day when Pakistan's federal and provincial governments marked 1 year of the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir by holding various protest events. Pakistan had been seeking international pressure on India ever since August last year, with little success. Pakistan has been pushing for the foreign ministers' meeting of the 57-member bloc of Muslim countries, which is the second largest intergovernmental body after the UN, since India annexed occupied Kashmir last August, Dawn reported. Responding to a question on the talk show, Qureshi declared Pakistan could not wait any further on the issue of a meeting of Islamic nations. Qureshi had previously claimed a meeting of Organization of Islamic Cooperation foreign ministers was needed to send a clear message from the community of Muslims on the Kashmir issue. Saudi Arabia, considered to be one of the most influential members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, had been reluctant to support Pakistan's call for a meeting of OIC foreign ministers. In December last year, Imran dropped out of a meeting of Islamic nations organized in Kuala Lumpur by then Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. The leaders of Iran, Turkey and Qatar attended the meeting, which was touted as being an alternative to the Saudi-dominated Organization of Islamic Cooperation. At the time, there were reports that Imran dropped out owing to pressure from Saudi Arabia.